working with other instructors in that capacity, like, made me a better NCO for Teach Coach Mentor. It's like, dude, if you can get a class of, call it 20, civilians to, like, be super functional, with the information and how you're doing it and how it's going, like, just the flow of how those classes were structured back then it blows away dudes that have never seen it except for what we do in the military and how we do it. And we in the military is big words, but, like, just at platoon level, unit level, whatever, like, when you go to the range, what do you do and how do you do it? And, they're like, oh, this is what we do and this is how we do it. Is there a different way? Like, hell yeah, there's a different way to do this, But you would never know that unless you got outside of the military and kind of seen how, I hate to use this word, but it's true, like, see how the pros were doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit.
NSN.
Ooh, very nice. NSN, SMF.
You might want to scoot just a little closer to Maz.
I showered, so I'm clean, I promise.
You smell great.
Thank you.
And I had an SMF that was tiger striped, the Coyote Brown one, tiger stripe blade, for
Those look so good.
14 years. And Mick gave it to me once, and it's great. It went on, 8 or 9 deployments.
Nice.
It's like my knife. And working in this job, flying fucking airlines.
Oh, no.
Somebody jacked it out of my bag.
Oh, so that's my bit. Like, I always travel with a couple knives. And
that's why you drive everywhere, huh?
100%, bro.
Yeah.
15 hours out here from Savannah, no problem. Like,
he goes, Maz, you better be up at 3 o'clock. We're leaving.
I'm not getting on an airplane if I can help it. You know what I mean?
I had a dual gunner grip SMF in Z-Wear stolen out of a backpack. Well, my whole backpack was stolen out of my car, and that was in there. And I cried. And there's somebody somewhere with a super rare Strider that
thinks it's worth $20.
No idea.
He pawned it for
$5. The guy's like, I'll give you $30 for it.
It made me cry.
Well, it's cool that you're man enough to admit it, because I am also. We're not recording right now, are we?
We're recording.
Actually,
okay.
we are.
Well, shit.
You can talk about it and I'll delete it.
I am also a big knife guy, but not overtly. Like, they're all in my safe. I don't talk about them. I look at them every once in a while. Like, but like.
Chris doesn't want to admit he's a knife guy, but
Chris is a knife guy.
He's a knife guy. Yeah, I have a whole group of local buddies that are big into, like, Striders and knives, and we go get lunch all the time, and
I was telling Chris, like, a while back, like, I was when I was a private, still living in the barracks. One of my buddy's moms got him and his brother, the Hidden Canyon Hunter from Benchmade. I go, man, that's badass. Like, I wonder what goes into making that. So I go down a YouTube rabbit hole. I'm like, I could fucking do that. So my little dumbass is a private. I go to the fucking Harbor Freight, spend like $500, everything you need to make knives, and I'm making knives in the barrack parking lot. Like, made a little $10 forge. I'm heating that thing up, and people are like, dude, you can't fucking do that here. I'm like, who the fuck says I can't? Like,
yeah,
so I went down a big.
Making knives is a strong term for what you were doing.
Yeah, I was making shanks. I was making shanks. I was making shanks. But it was cool. It was a fun little hobby, and, like, fixed blades are. I mean, I like knives as well, but fixed blades for me were like where it was at.
Oh yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, mine's I don't have any super nice knives, but I do have.
Sorry, my gun's jabbing me.
I think I've got that Blue Force Gear Winkler.
You've got your Nerf.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was packing today.
Oh my god, dude!
Keeps that thing on him,
dude. It's literally a holster for it. That is
never
amazing.
Be too safe around.
And a reload.
Yeah,
and a reload.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a sidecar and all, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, it was jabbing me. I don't normally.
So we got real quick.
Yep. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It'll all come.
Because last time you were on the podcast at SHOT, you were 3 days deep in a SHOT.
Yeah.
You've talked to like 10,000 people. I think you were on your 4th or 5th monster that day.
Oh yeah. Mouthful of Copenhagen, which did not help the podcast at all.
Like, this is bringing back some.
And you were like, I did some stuff sometime. I was in the Army for a little while. It's like totally downplayed your experience in that side. And this is Maz's first appearance on the Big Tex.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm really happy to be here and get out here, learn what you guys got going on. Chris is kind of tag along with him, and he's kind of showing me industry, kind of being pretty much my mentor through all this, and it's been really cool, man. Like, getting to get out here and see what you guys are doing. So I'm just happy to participate in everything you guys got going on.
This is your first podcast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever. Yeah, I've probably done a half a dozen of various ones, and maybe 2 that I was sober. So this will be 3. Like, usually those podcasts, because everyone's at their house, like remember the old PNS days and all that kind of shit, and everyone's drinking, and they get pretty quick. But
Well, we can bust out a bottle.
We
We've got Ike's liquor cabinet is just right around the corner. So
nice. What do you drink?
Usually there's a bunch of bourbon here because it's like for
Yeah.
guests and stuff. But usually like Scotch.
Nice.
That's kind of where I gravitate towards.
Makes sense. This is Texas is what Tito's vodka, right? Isn't that out of
I
Texas?
think that's here, yeah.
Love me some Tito's.
it's good.
Potato vodka, baby.
Yeah.
We're in the bubbly water stage at our house. Bubbly
Spicy water.
Yeah. We're
That's all
got
my wife drinks.
quite a few varieties of bubbly water, and
White Claws and
no, just bubbly water, just like zero.
just like Topo and
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, just
Nice.
bubbly water. That's it, man. That's why I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
Little kids and not drinking. Anyway, you wanna
Yeah.
do the deal?
So, welcome to the Big Tex Ordnance Podcast. If you're watching, we appreciate it. I'm Ike. We got Chris, Ian, and then we also have Chris again. We'll call him Size Love. And we got Maz from Blue Force Gear, and they're here hanging out with us today.
That was me.
Thank y'all for coming on.
Hey, thanks again for letting me. I was a no-go at the first station of doing this podcast in Vegas, so this is my retest. You know what I mean? So yeah, really appreciate it, man. You have an awesome crew and an awesome place here, and it's just always fun to be here. Because every time I come out here, this is my second time out here, so I guess we shouldn't say every time, but last time I came out here, it was what it was, and then that was about 18, 20 months ago, and now I'm back here again, and it's bigger, faster, stronger than it even was then, man. So you guys are killing it.
Thanks.
You came when we had just moved into this facility.
Yeah, I think they were
I
still
think
like
so.
tearing down walls and stuff
Mhm.
for us.
Yeah, they were still doing construction.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hadn't started this. I remember we stood back there, much like we've done earlier today, stood around and told old war stories and complained about different things. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what else we do though? I mean, that's me and you get paid to do that. Somebody has to pay us to stand around and tell war stories.
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Let your boss know that we said thank you too.
Yep.
So.
And this was an amazing opportunity. Like I said, Maz is name's actually Michael Masseria, so Maz for short, but is new on our team. Just got out of 1st Ranger Battalion and has a cool set of skills that may or may not be viable in the commercial world. So we hired him, and we're like, hey, let's get you out here to do this kind of work and get you on the road to success. So thanks for letting me bring him and learn. He's here to learn from you guys. Like, how does this work on your end so that we can better support it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was already picking Chris's brain in the car. I was like,
Oh,
how does
yeah.
this all work? How does this everybody fit together? Like, because it's pretty interesting how all that, like, each business is so similar at what you're accomplishing, but how you're doing it is totally different. So, and yeah, it's been pretty cool.
We
So.
do a lot with a lot less, I
Yeah.
think, here than a lot of other businesses that do the same volume as we do. Typically have a way larger footprint than what we do, and I think that's one of our abilities, or it's one of our what's the word I'm looking for? Advantages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's definitely a strong suit for
Yeah,
us.
you're running like the business equivalent of like an ODA team. You're like, I only got 18 dudes or 12 or whatever their task order for now. I don't even know. But yeah, and everybody's got to do a lot of different things and be good at a lot of different things, which is a huge capability.
So, Chris, give us a little bit about your background.
My father's retired Air Force, actually Air Force family, father, uncle, and was that consummate like gun weirdo kid from like the age of I think I probably watched Red Dawn for the first time when I was like 8, and it was like, boop, over. That's it. That's my life right there. Summed up.
AK-47.
Yeah, comm block nerd, all that stuff. And what really probably pushed me over the edge was my father's Air Force. We got stationed in Yokota Air Force Base, Japan in '93. And I guess at that time I was probably 10, 11. And in the early 90s in Japan is when the airsoft stuff was coming online in a big way. And so, in the U.S., you used to be able to go down to Walmart and get yourself a freaking Crosman 760 pump action, and that was my little BB gun, and that was cool. So we moved to Japan, and you go to an airsoft store, and it was like, oh my God, there's. So by the time we left there, I kind of like your arsenal hanging on your wall. I had that when I was 12 years old, and it was all airsoft guns that were like 100% realistic. G3s and MP5s and Mac 11s and every freaking pistol and all this stuff. My father was smart and did not let me take those back to the U.S. in '96 when we moved back. Because he's like, your dumb ass is gonna get smoked by a cop or something driving by, rocking this assault rifle.
How did this 17-year-old get an MP5?
Yeah, exactly. So got back to the U.S. in '96 and moved to Prescott, Arizona. And Prescott, Arizona is a lot of things, but to me, it's only important because of its proximity to gun sight. So. When I was in high school, I managed to talk myself into a job out at Gunsight, being a barn rat, targetry, literally policing up brass for a living, as a 17-year-old kid. And then in the barn is where all the instructors used to eat lunch. That was their thing, because there's lots of classes going on out there, and that was back in the days of like Louis Arbuck and Pat and, 10 more I can't think of off the top of my head. That kind of like laid the foundation for a lot of what's happening today. Mm-hmm. But anyway, these dudes would all eat lunch in the barn. And so I'd be in the barn with my little sandwich trying to not be noticed, you know. And, they're over there doing like kind of like what we're doing, they're over there telling war stories. And I remember thinking to myself at, 16, 17 years old, I was like, man, these dudes are not fucking around. Like, this ain't a movie. Like, these dudes are real, And, wanted to be a commando, like based off what I heard, and then working at Gunsight, being a gun guy. I got hired out there as an apprentice gunsmith, and then I quickly realized that was not for me. Like I just don't have the attention to detail. I don't, the stuff. I'm like it'll buff out, you know what I mean? And that's not the attitude you can have if you're going to be like a good gunsmith. So it's like I kind of want to spend my life using guns instead of tinkering with them. And a couple of those instructors at Gunsight were like, you need to fucking join the Army. So I did. And, those same guys, I think if memory serves, a 20th Special Forces Group ODA team was doing their 2 weeks a year or whatever. So they came out to do a Gunsight class. And they're really cool guys, and they were talking bullshit with me. It's like, man, you have a pretty cool job out here, man. You like sit on a quad. If a gun breaks, take it back, whatever. But a lot of those guys were like, you need to join the Army and you need to go to Ranger Battalion, because that's the fastest access point into doing some commando type shit. Because in the 90s there was no 18 series program. Like you could not join the Army and say I want to go to SF. They're like you're gonna do your 4 years in division or wherever, and then you can do that. So they're like just go right to Ranger Battalion. Spend your time there, have fun, learn a bunch of shit, and then go SF. It's like, okay, so that was the plan, 100%. Joined with a Ranger contract. I still don't know how I made it through all that stuff as a 17-year-old, dipshit, but I did. I could do push-ups apparently decently well, and found myself a 2nd Ranger Battalion. Loved it. Had a great time as a young guy there. Still had all intents and purposes of going to group, because I hate to say peacetime, but pre-GWAT Ranger Battalion, that was kind of the MO, was like, hey, Ranger Battalion is cool because it's very narrow bandwidth. Like we literally have 3 jobs, like we do 3 things, you know what I mean? It's very narrow, but it's very deep because that's all we do, like as opposed to an SF team that has a lot of stuff they got to be able to do. So after, 4 or 5 years of that, dudes kind of get bored. It's like, hey, man, I've been through 6 cycles of this narrow bandwidth job, but it's super deep. So you just kind of get bored, and by the time you're 5, 6 years in Ranger Battalion, you're like, I'm going to go to SF, just do something different, and that's all cool. And then the war started, so I'd been in a couple of years. 9/11 happens. First couple pumps to Afghanistan, did that kind of work, and then it was like, I do not want to go to SF because I like what we're doing a lot more than what they're doing. They do really great stuff. It's just different. So I decided, nope, I'm staying here, and I did the rest of my career all the way to 2016 in the Ranger Regiment. And unfortunately, I caught an injury that was like, hey, you're not going to be operational anymore. And you're more than welcome to go back and like work in training stuff or staff stuff. You only got a couple years left. And I just thought that that's probably not a good idea. One of my mentors and one of my peers that was, good dude, I called him. I was like, what do you think I should do, bro? And he's like, I think you should leave. Like, I don't know about the other special operations units that are out there, but Ranger Regiment is one of those things where you're all the way in or you're all the way out. And like the guys that kind of try to toe the line, it just doesn't really work that well. So he's like, I recommend you get all the way out. So that's what I did. And so I transferred over to a different job with the Defense Intelligence Agency for a couple of years. Sounds cool. It ain't. It was terrible. But I knew it. It's like, hey, man, it's an office job. You know what I mean? It's not kinetic in any way, shape, or form. But I did learn a lot, and I basically got to practice being a functional civilian for like 3 years before I retired. Because that was a suit and tie literally every day, for 3 years, and I actually had to like work with people that weren't us, you know what I mean? Like actual people, Earth people, as we call them.
You got actual computer time doing something other than writing a monthly counseling statement?
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to like,
yep. So did that for 3 years and then retired from the military into 2019.
Cool.
And I guess probably should mention that the interesting thing about my time there was because I knew that this whole like industry existed before I joined the Army, that while I was in, I was that guy that was like going to open enrollment classes during leave or calling, and then that progressed eventually to a couple instructors that were really big at that time saying, hey, can you come out and help me, AI this class or whatever? I was like, yeah, okay. And that's really fun, man. I just teach, coach, mentor was like the whole thing about my career. And obviously teaching classes like that is an extension of that. So I really got good, like working with other instructors in that capacity, like made me a better NCO for teach, coach, mentor. Cause it's like, dude, if you can get a class of, call it 20, civilians to like be super functional, with the information and how you're doing it and how it's going, like the flow of how those classes were structured back then it blows away dudes that have never seen it except for what we do in the military and how we do it. And we in the military is big words, but like just at the platoon level, unit level, whatever, like when you go to the range, what do you do and how do you do it? And they're like, oh, this is what we do and this is how we do it. Is there a different way? Like, hell yeah, there's a different way to do this, but you would never know that unless you got outside of the military and kind of seen how, I hate to use this word, but it's true, like see how the pros are doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why when I retired, it was a pretty easy transition to like, well, I guess I'll do something in the industry. I don't know what that could be, but I did know I did not want to be a full-time like instructor. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't really want to live out of my truck. I don't really want to fight on Instagram to fill classes or whatever. Like I'm just not interested in that. So Blue Force Gear offered me a position to be their like director of training, which sounds like super lofty, but it really wasn't. It was just me, and I spent my time as director of training just doing some education stuff with our government clients, and that was really cool. And I enjoyed the fact that my boss wasn't really trying to monetize that, so I could really help people that didn't have any funding for like nothing. You know what I mean? And that felt really good. Like that's like the service part of this job, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Maz, what about you, man?
Man, so growing up, like I moved around a little bit. My old man was an SF dude. He was in 7th Group before they bounced to Eglin. So as a kid, I grew up on Range 37, playing the hostage kid, getting shot at UTM by a bunch of 18 Bravos going through the course. So I was already privy to all. Like the first time I ever shot a gun was on Range 37. I was like 7 years old. So I was like, dude, I already knew this is what I was doing when I grow up. Like, that's what my old man does. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to SF. This is going to be cool. And like Chris was saying earlier, like when he was coming through, there wasn't a direct pipeline. When I went in directly as an 18 X-ray. So I signed a 5-year contract. I'm like, let's fucking go. And I got through student company, went to selection, got dropped. And I'm like, well, shit. I'm going to go to the 82nd. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but at the time, OT, there was like a first sergeant was like, hey, man, like, did you voluntarily withdraw? Do you want to go to RAS? I was like, yes, I want to go to RASP 100%. He's like, all right, cool. You're going to RASP in 2 weeks. Get ready. Went to RASP, got to regiment, got my ass kicked a little bit by my team leaders, which were some of the baddest motherfuckers I've probably ever met. And, like, they beat the shit out of me a little bit, but it was cool. And, like, I fell in love with the Ranger lifestyle and the way that we do things and the mindset. And I spent my first 3.5 years in BTO 175 is, you know, started off as just a rifleman, saw a gunner. Then I got the opportunity to go to Ranger School, did that, and we were looking for a new sniper, so I pounced over to SNOT, did one right to sniper school.
Probably want to say what SNOT means.
SNOT is our sniper.
Prevalent
yeah,
term.
it's our term for sniper team. So one over there was a sniper for 3B the whole time, so I got to support my old platoon the entire way through. Did that for a couple years, and 7-year mark came up, and I was like, you know what, things are starting to slow down. I kind of want to see what else is out there. So I bounced out, and I like knew Daniel Defense and BFG are right next to each other. I was like, I'm going to apply to both. I'm going to land one. Because if not, I don't know what else I'm going to do. Go to school, go to SCAD and paint, be a dork. But no, like luckily I landed the BFG gig, and we have a really good culture there. There's a bunch of ex-Rangers with Chris, our buddy Sebastian Sisu, a couple other guys, and like the culture there is what like really makes me get up every day. So it's like I don't really have to go to work. I get to go hang out with my boys, and I got to do some paperwork here and there, but I get to do cool things like this, come out and hang out at BTO. I mean, Chris went out to gun site. Like that's kind of like my whole story in a wrap up, but and like real quick. But yeah, no, it's been a cool journey, man. Like, you know, people ask me like, well, why'd you get out? Why'd you get in? Like, I'll tell you what, if I went back 7.5 years, I'd do it again. 100%. Even if I knew I was going to get out again. You know, I went through a couple injuries as well, but I wouldn't change anything about it. Like, you know, it's a whole lifestyle.
So when you were new to Ranger Bat and you were beat up, would you call that hazing? And was there any of that carried over to Blue Force gear? Was there any hazing involved?
Chris biting his teeth. So it wasn't as bad when I got to BFG, but no, there was it wasn't as bad. Like, you know, like talk about
this out.
Yeah, right.
All of this out.
Yeah.
HR.
No, some of the craziest things are like, you know, when you're a private, you get messed with for whatever reasons. But one of my favorite ones was my first tab. Man, what a good dude. I hated him at the time, and I never wanted to see his face. But he's like, all right, Masseria, fucking bear crawl, round the cough. And I'll be bear crawling. I'm on my like second lap. He's like, you don't sound like a fucking bear. I'm like, oh no. Like, he's like, you better roar like a bear. You know, stuff like that, and just you know, corrective. They like to call it corrective training. Like, but it was a good time. And then
it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's necessary. It's a cultural thing, right? So like, you know, I'm not saying bring bullying back, but maybe we should bring bullying back a little bit.
There's a difference.
It builds character.
There's a bullying, and then there's character building. There is a difference because like if a guy can't, you know, and the theory on it for at least the guys in regiment at that time frame was like, I know that's what his team leader did to him.
Yeah.
And it's a pressure thing. Hey, like let's see, we're gonna put some external pressure on you, and we're gonna see how you perform. Because you know, after he got done doing all that, he'd be like, okay, cool, close your eyes, take apart the saw, with my heart rate super elevated, you know. And he's like, all right, you messed up. Bear crawl again, let's go. Until I got it right.
And don't forget to growl.
Yeah, and don't forget to growl. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there's a real, you know, there's a lot of science behind stress inoculation.
Yeah.
Not that, you know, the guys that are doing the majority of the hazing realize that, but it is a real thing. And if you can harness it right into your culture, it obviously has pretty consistent effects. Yeah. Really.
All right.
But the hazing he got, actually, it's kind of a funny story. Maz was one of the later Rangers, because that, you know, Blue Force gear took a huge leap, put me on the team, and then watched the like destruction I was causing at the company in a couple different areas, and then they're crazy enough to say, well, yeah, I mean, if you know some more, like let's bring some more in. So I basically opened up the breach and got some more on the team. But with Maz specifically, he hit me up every form of communication that we can use in our present day: LinkedIn, Instagram, direct text, multiple phone calls and messages to my phone. And I didn't know him, and I asked a couple of my other guys, you know this cat? And they're like, yeah, he's a good guy. And I was like, here's the deal. All right, I'm not going to reply to him. I'm not going to help him. I'm not even going to meet this guy. But I did go to HR and said, just look at his packet and give him a fair shake. But I'm not involved in this because I didn't want the like street cred to be like, oh, you know, Sizelove's just Debo and the company to let his boys in. It's like, nope, I'm not doing that for anybody anymore.
Which pissed me the fuck off. But
yeah, exactly. But that was his hazing. Was like, you're getting no feedback from me. Nothing. But he went, made his own breach into Blue Force gear and did his interview and impressed the CEO and everybody else. I was like, all right, man, you're good. And I'm happy because I was like, hey, man, that was my part of your hazing. Was like, I'm not going to help you. I didn't even reply to any of his every
until
day,
after my interview. After my interview, I get a text from Chris Sizelove. Hey, brother, sorry I completely ignored you, but I didn't want to set an expectation. I was just going to give you a job. I was like, okay, I respect that. But he's like, also expect an offer by the end of the day. I was like, whew, I'm clear. Let's go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, every couple of hours, it's like, dude, this guy's hitting me on LinkedIn, on just
persistency,
over and over.
baby.
Yeah, he was persistent. Get on target, stay on target. I like it.
That's good. So.
But what about you guys, man? I know this is your show, so people probably already heard all of this stuff.
They know about us pretty heavily. We talk about.
I'm just a dude playing a dude.
Playing another dude.
Disguised as another dude.
with a Strider knife in your pocket.
Not today.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I have I forgot the name of it, but I don't want to ruin like a good knife cutting boxes, so I got like a custom little brass box cutter.
Heck yeah.
That's way better than my.
Even his box cutters are custom.
Yeah.
That's way better than my $17 Kershaw from
what do you got?
Amazon.
I got a little.
Look at that.
It's a gunsight one that they sell out there, and it is the heaviest little guy I've ever held.
A little Cobra
I gotta pick that up.
It
You
doesn't
see
realize.
it, you pick it, you're like, no way.
You're like, oh no, it's a brick.
And I'm pretty sure. So
Nice.
my boss who sits in front of me, I do this all day, and sometimes I kind of peek over. I'm like, I can tell he's probably not loving.
I'm just
gonna stab you with it. So it's cool. It's like a little fidget tool. People got those little spinners and those little pop-it bubble things, and I'm just sitting there playing with a knife.
Well, talking about that, because my old SOP when I was operational all the time, because I was a knife guy, and probably because I lived in Japan as a kid, because the other thing in Japan was like ninja shit. But so
that's short right there.
Yeah, I have a Bali, like a Benchmade Bali song, the nice one. It's like $500. But that thing lived in the front pocket of my Kreis, and everyone's like, what is that for? It's like, it's when I get bored hanging out in the jock, doing stuff, waiting to go. It's like, that's a fidget spinner for a man, like flipping a Bali song knife and playing around with it and everything. And it's like, you really bringing that on target? I'm like, I might get bored on target.
I might have to stab somebody, and I might get bored.
Why'd Chris just hand off his rifle?
Yeah.
He's getting that kill.
Yeah.
Good time with war crimes.
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie Big Trouble in Little China and you didn't want to buy a freaking Bali song, there's something wrong with you. Yeah.
I'm going to a gun site for the first time in November.
Oh,
no
dude,
shit.
You are gonna love it.
I'm going to Revolver Roundup.
Oh, cool, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm camping out there and gonna live out of my car for a few days and shoot wheel guns with all the OGs. So
lucky.
That is
dude,
cool.
that's
I'm
awesome.
excited.
That is the biggest gap in my experience. I have shot a revolver 6 times in my life, and I don't mean 6 sessions. It was the same revolver with a cylinder full. And it was one of those family heirloom, pass me downs. It's a Smith 41 Mountain Magnum, with 6-inch barrel, big old revolvers. When I do this, I'm holding it, and I don't know anything about revolvers. I literally had to call a guy that was a big revolver dude. Like, how do I hold this? Like, do you put your thumb here? And he's like, no. Yeah. And so I actually entertained going to that event. They do it every year.
Yeah.
And the guys that run it are absolutely just gold. And I was like, I should go out there and just
There's still spots this year.
do the revolver thing, because I don't know anything about revolvers. So good on you, man.
I'm excited. It should be a good time. I'm a low-key wheel gun guy also.
Yeah.
So.
Wheel guns and knives.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
And flashlights.
And flashlights.
Yeah, wheel guns, knives, and leather-bound books.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'll give it to you though, man. Like if you're tuned up on a semi-auto and you get into revolvers and start shooting revolvers, it will do nothing but make you a better semi-auto shooter. In my experience, because it's going to definitely make you understand the functionality of a trigger.
Yeah, that double action trigger gets
real long.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like hanging out and working with a guy named Justin Dial.
Oh yeah.
And he is
Phenomenal
a revolver
instructor.
guy. Yeah, he's absolutely a national treasure. And same thing, he brought a bunch of like old ratty, nasty revolvers, and he's like, "Yep, you shoot these guns, and I guarantee you, no matter what you're doing with that Glock, it's gonna go through the roof." So still haven't bought one yet. I'm in the market. I don't know if you guys have any on consignment over there.
There's
like,
hella wheel guns. I swear, my like Monday, because again, I have a low key revolver obsession. So I'll like go over there on Mondays and be like, "Ooh, what came in on the weekend? Anything
new?"
good?" And they have a good amount of wheel guns.
What was that one you had yesterday? What was that?
I recently picked up a Model 30-1, which is it's a 1964-65 32 long, or not 32 long Colt.
S&W?
Yeah, 32 Smith & Wesson long. So it's a J frame. It's a 6-shot J frame, but in 32 long.
are you gonna do one of those fits specials on it, like cut the trigger guard
not
off?
On that, not on that one. Not on that one. But I just recently picked up one of the new Tauruses, and I might fit special that. That would be pretty sweet. So
Yeah, I've been kind of hooked on the cyberpunk looking ones where they put the light and the optic on a rail, and then you have like a 44
the
Magnum.
Rhino.
Yeah. Oh no, not those, man. Those things are just weird. Anyway.
Haven't talked about those in a long time.
Yeah.
Those were all the rage, or not all the rage, but like they were
something.
You saw them out there.
Michaela had one for a while.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't know if she still does, but she did.
I haven't seen one in years.
Yeah.
Like
I had a buddy who had one. And he's like, I can't find a holster for this. I was like,
Well,
well,
no
there's
shit.
a fucking
Yeah.
reason.
when I took
There's a reason.
Caleb's class this year. Wow, I'm having words are hard this year.
you have a stroke over there, bud?
Smile. Two dudes were rocking those at Caleb's class. I was like, oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. They worked the entire time. Like, didn't have any issues. And I was like, all right. So, yeah.
Eventually, someone's gonna come out with the like a single action peacemaker type thing, but a new one with a rail and optic mounts and all that, and then everybody will be, saying how awesome it is to cock with your left hand and shoot with your right hand, on.
Dude, when I worked at the range, I really wanted to like open carry like an old single action army, just in like
a Vaquero.
Something obnoxious, and just get my conus with like somebody's trying to rob the place. I'm just like just smoking them with
Oh,
it.
man.
Yeah, doing great.
Dude, I was just trying to deliver the mail. Jeez.
You see those?
Not today.
I saw one of those videos. This is what peak performance looks like.
Yeah.
Very large gentleman with the like 4 cowboy action revolvers, all like, and he was just just going at it. I was like, okay, whatever.
One day,
Was he dropping them as they ran out and just
Yeah, he
grabbing
was
another
sticking
one?
them back in.
Yeah,
okay.
But he was going for
I
it.
carried 4.
Did a little New York reload.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
I carried 4 wheel guns with me one day at work.
Here?
No,
there?
at the other place. Yeah, one in each pocket, one appendix, and then one behind the hip.
You are slacking if you haven't done that here. I'm severely disappointed for you.
It was great.
You
It was
need to
good
post that on Instagram. You need to carry that and post it on
I had
Instagram.
like 12 pounds of gun on me. I'm like, but I only had as much as a single, Glock 17 worth of ammo.
Yeah, 24 rounds total. Split
But then you got
between
4
guns.
projectiles just throwing them.
So you came up, and for us, we'll get back on subject here. That way, I'm fixing to have to take off to go pick up kids, but they'll be more than able to handle it. You came up here to teach a class for us that we're doing for free at Big Tech's Range and Training Center, or Big Tech's Ordnance Range and Training Center, right? Dash. Yeah. And I'll remove that. Anyway, you've came up to teach a class at the range called Malfunction Junction.
Yep.
And me and you were discussing a little bit earlier in the gym.
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit, because it sounds pretty cool.
Well, because I'm not in a capacity to do like 2 or 3, like if there's a difference between a class and a clinic, this would be a clinic. You know what I mean? It's just a one day. We're just going to focus on this aspect, and even with one day, but only talking about one thing, that'll hopefully give us a little bit more depth than you would get from at least what we're going to be talking about in a 2-day or 3-day class, if that makes sense. That's like where my head was. And I've done this before with Blue Force Gear, supporting other people and companies of like, hey, I'm just going to do a combat prone clinic or a sling clinic or and this is a malfunction clinic. And I called it Malfunction Junction because it's like I would like to cover all things stoppage and malfunction related. You know, it's like, hey, here's all of the options on the menu tree, and here's how we can kind of look at the entire problem set when the big gun no worky, you know, for whatever reason. And wait for him to plug back into the ICS. All right, cool. So it's just a 1-day thing, and I like the best thing about it is getting to support you guys. You know, I think when I wrote you that email, I was like, hey, just put it out to the usual suspect network. You know, like all your great people that you've cultivated in this area. I just would like to give back to you guys since you support us, and it's all cool. That's where this came from, and junction rhymed with malfunction, so that's kind of cool.
Sounds like Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah. And then my bro, Freddie Blish, actually, I just went to his class a couple of weeks ago, and he said something that was really interesting, and I was like, damn, he's right. He's so right. And that is, doctrinally, in the military anyway, a malfunction necessitates a tool to fix. A stoppage is something you can fix with your hands. So if you want to be, doctrinally correct, the class is going to be stoppage junction. Yeah. But that didn't rhyme. So
is that tomorrow or Saturday?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's tomorrow.
I thought it was Saturday.
Yeah. See, that's why I texted him yesterday. I was like, "Hey, what day are you coming?" Because some of us think it's Saturday.
Yeah. Somebody said it was Saturday.
Nope, it's tomorrow.
No, it's
what
tomorrow.
time tomorrow?
9 to until complete.
Okay.
So probably 4
Nice.
or 5. We'll take an hour lunch break and stuff.
Hell
so
yeah.
Do all that.
Did it fill up? You guys got a full?
Yeah.
There's a waiting list too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We posted it up in the friends group, and kind of first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope it filled up because people are actually interested and not because it's free. Probably because it's free, which is,
free helps. Free definitely helps.
But, yeah, on that topic, though, man, like it could be said that as far as skills, techniques, procedures, what I am doing with load carriage, magazines, guns, manipulations, all that stuff, the only reason I do it in the daytime is to practice doing it at night. And what I found over years of playing around with that concept was, a lot of techniques, especially for malfunction clearance, are reliant on the fact that you're standing on range and it's blue sky and I can clearly see anything I need to see.
It's precisely 66 degrees out. There's no humidity.
Exactly. And that's not a bad thing. Whatever, man. But the techniques and procedures I have for malfunction clearance of any sort, kind of the common trend or the theme is like I don't need my eyes at all to do any of this stuff because like half of all time is nighttime. So I don't want to have to rely on my technique only working when I can like flip the gun over and look at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same like Chappie. Took a class from him, like the loading procedure and stuff.
Yep.
It's all done without.
Oh man, yeah, I'm passionate about make ready. Yeah, no, and there's some other tangible benefits, but you're right because that was always our thing was like a skill and a technique and a procedure has to work under all domains, daytime, nighttime, cold weather, all this kind of shit. So what I'm going to be teaching tomorrow, and I'll clearly put this out to everybody, is like this is not going to make you win any 3-gun matches. You know what I mean? Like not at all. Because in those conditions, absolutely, man. If the fucking sun is shining and this thing no worky and like flip, what the hell's going on there? Oh, that. Okay, yeah, fixed, done. That's all cool. But for my purposes and our purposes for like what I would say duty application. Can't rely on the sun, can't rely on my eyes, so we just have to have different techniques that account for all that. And that's all it really is.
Yeah.
And I get to spend a whole day working on it with people. So I think by the end of the class, even if they're like, this is cool, but, and really not something I felt like I really needed to know. I don't really shoot in conditions that necessitate this, but, right on. At least I'll get really good at going through JMPI. JMPI for airborne guys out there is jump master, pre-inspection. So all the things you do in sequence, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and done, but at least they'll get a lot of reps doing that.
Nice.
And we're going to culminate. I love the fact it's indoor range. So the lights are going to go off in there, and we might get some cool night vision footage of people doing this, in the dead of darkness. I can't see my hands in front of my face, but I can absolutely go through this sequence to fix this disgusting stoppage that Chris just loaded into my rifle. And I do these 5 things, and guns up and running, and white lights. Obviously, at that point in time, they're gonna have their white lights on. So it's like fix the gun and just jack one into the ceiling. Like, yeah, it works. Yeah, not my range.
Last test pop, February 06.
Yeah. So and that's really the reason too. And I was like, I really want to do another class or a clinic out at Ike's place, but like, what could I really do that would be hopefully value added, but also like taken to the capabilities of the environment. So I was like, if I do malfunction stuff, we can turn the lights out in there just to prove to everybody, it's like, man, this shit works.
It could be dark out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, long story short, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Malfunction junction.
Yep.
Or stoppage.
Stoppage junction. Yeah.
Are you going to help him tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to be there just kind of helping out. Safety in,
bebopping around,
showing them what they got going on. Might take a couple photos, learn a little bit from our camera guy over here.
Yeah, easy with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be out there with Chris and just hanging out with all the people out there and just getting to know everybody. So
nice. So good times.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
Times.
Since Maz is kind of new to this world, and especially coming out of like first Ranger Battalion sniper section, it's interesting because he's like, I think I want to have my own precision gun now that and he had no idea. It's like, bro, that's a $10,000 proposition, homie. And it's like, whoa, like I had, because when you're active duty and you have all these toys, you kind of you take it for granted that it's like,
absolutely,
when you go out into the commercial world and there's civilians out there with that same gun or even a better one, and it's like, dude, that thing is no joke. That is a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. But it's been cool to get not just Maz, but some of the other prior mill guys that have brought on the team, that just their eyes get opened to this, like, wow.
How much?
Well, not just that, but it's like there's this whole other world of people and things that are pressing the envelopes. They're pushing the ball forward. They're doing all this innovation. They're doing things with different equipment and in a different way than they have ever experienced, and that's really cool. Because like the military's awesome, but sometimes we got blinders on. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, this is all there is because this is the top of the mountain. And it's like, no, bro, there's a lot of cool stuff out there and a lot of cool things that you need to experience if you really want to know what the hell you're doing here.
Very eye-opening of how much money all this stuff costs. Mm-hmm. Like the first time I ever bought a round, because my old man was SF, then I was in the Army. I go to do a 2-gun comp local through BFG. They paid for me to go, but I was like, I'm going to buy my own ammo. My buddy goes, it'll be 250 rounds. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. I go to buy rounds. The first time I ever bought rounds, I'm 29 years old, and I looked at I was like, you fucking kidding me? I'm like,
and when was this?
This was about a year ago.
Yeah, so like,
I'm like, okay, can I get an advance on my paycheck, Chris? like, oh my god, like
just buying ammo during the height of COVID to go to a 2-gun match.
Yep. Yeah, it was wild, and like like Chris said, like learning about all that stuff. Like the first time I looked at a scope, I was like, well, where's the mounting bracket? He's like, oh no, it's $3,800 for the scope. I was like, and you want me to buy a spur mount with it? No, okay, give me a couple of years. But it's cool being in the industry, getting to learn everything, from Chris and everybody else, like you guys, just kind of poking in and see what's going on. And it's really, really cool to just be a part of this and get to learn from, different aspects of it. And, and I get to go to like all these range days, like Land Range Day, Ohio Range Day, and hanging out with a different realm of people who do something similar. At first I was like, this stuff's all nerdy, whatever. And then I was like, man, but these people like want to train, and they actually drive the industry to make different things because of that reason. And one of our guys that works for us, his name's, I call him Donnie Utah, give me 2. He opened my eyes to a bunch of this recently and like really made me like take it to heart. And it was pretty cool to learn some stuff from him, and good dude. And yeah, I know this industry is pretty badass, and I'm very happy to be a part of it now. So
I love it, man. I always make it a point with open enrollment classes, and even that term is kind of bad, like open enrollment. Like you can't go if you're not, military police, but whatever. I don't know a better term, but civilian classes. The only reason we have what we have today, as far as quality and proliferation, is of the commercial market, man. And and a lot of people, when did you start getting into this stuff, this world?
So I got out of the Army in 17, moved to Texas, and it was like probably, I've been here 3 years. I was at the range for a couple of years before that. So like 6 years ago.
Okay, so that 20 years ago, this didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, and all the gear was shit, compared to what we have today. And the reason it's not shit anymore is not because of fucking Delta Force or the Ranger Regiment or SEAL Team 6. It's not. It's because of the commercial market was like, we want better stuff. We want more quality stuff. We want more options. We want more capabilities. And the market did it. They didn't do any of that stuff. And I tell Rangers all the time, it's like, dude, you guys have all this cool gear, not because you asked for it. Because I stuff I can't talk about on the show here, but there's many times in this is development and requirements and acquisitions where, SOCOM wanted something and the vendors were like, it's cool that you want that and we could do it, but we're not going to because it ain't worth our time and money. It's just not. So that if you guys want that piece of kit, if it gets big on the commercial market, good to go. And everyone thinks it's the opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, if they want it, I guess we're doing it. And a lot of times that is the case, but a lot of times it's not. And it's like, hey, if and all the mill guys that badmouth, civilians, like, oh, they're out there fucking doing band camp. It's like, hey, get fucked, bro. Because if you're an American male, you have to pick a subculture, right? Like, you have your job, you have your family, and then you have your thing. Like, whatever that subculture is. You're fishing, you ride fucking Harleys, whatever. This is a fantastic thing. You're like, hey, I'm into guns and training and gear. Worst case scenario is you're going to meet a whole bunch of really cool people and you're going to learn a whole bunch of really cool skills. That's the worst case scenario.
Minus a 240 Bravo, I probably have better gear as a civilian and got better training since I've been here the last 3. Obviously a little different for you guys because you're Rangers, but like regular Army, I look back all the time. I had this conversation. I was like, I deployed with this knowledge, and I was like, I've gotten better training as a civilian the last 5 years that I've been out than I did in the Army.
Yeah,
I'm slightly concerned about that, and I have better stuff now than I did when I was in the Army. And I'm like, I think about like every time I take a class and learn something new, or just at the end of the class looking back at it, I'm like, that's nuts.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, so I would say that's like don't ever let somebody tell you that you're like fantasy band camp bullshit. Like, tell them to get fucked. Like you're doing an awesome thing, passionately putting work into it, and you're kind of a national security asset. Because if you're not doing what you're doing, we ain't gonna get good stuff, And that's the reality. It's like if you had a time machine right now, bro, and you brought back, frickin' Hodge rifle, all this amazing load carriage, pano nods and everything, and you went back to 1998 and showed up in SOCOM's, 8 shop, and you're like, look at all this stuff. And they're like, oh my God, this is incredible.
He's a wizard.
And they're like, so you guys are going to buy it? No. There's no funding. There's no war going on. We don't, that's the reality of it. So it's like, if we want to continue to have this really high-end stuff, like, you better keep these tactical band camp guys freaking motivated.
I mean, there's some great civilian shooters. I mean, there's tons of great civilian shooters.
It's wild. There's some guys out there. Like I took a couple classes recently just by happenstance, and a kid named Kyle Manzano out of California. I mean, one of the fastest shooters I think I've ever met. And you would think it'd be a guy in the military, but no, this dude runs a gun faster than anybody I've ever met, like legitimately. And I'm just like, I did 7 years in regiment, and I could learn so much from this guy who was not, like, and it's cool, and that was eye-opening to me.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool, and, like, Chris says this all the time, but, like, in the last 20 years, we took a 100-year leap in this technology, and because of the war and all that other stuff going on, there's money in it now.
And there never was.
A 100-year leap in 20 years is substantial, which is pretty nuts. So pretty cool.
It's not far-fetched. I guess if you put it in context of this, like every other really technical skill set in, I'll just say the soft community, we bring in civilian experts driving cars fast. Like, yeah, sure, we have some knowledge and we play around ourselves, but when we really, really want to get work done with that aspect, we bring in civilians who know what the hell they're doing.
Go bring in a rally car driver and learn how to drive.
Same thing, skydiving. Like, I mean, there's some military skydiving elements that are amazing, but even when they want to push the envelope farther, they bring in civilians. You know, shooting. We've been bringing in civilians to the soft elements for shooting since the early 2000s, mid 90s.
Yeah.
You know, and so yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes to see that, like, the bullshit that goes on with active duty guys and the industry. But I just thank God that you guys are doing what you're doing, and this industry is growing, and this whole subculture is real, and it's here to stay, which is fantastic.
When you go spend a 3-day class with the boys, it's like, it's like spending 3 days back in the regiment or wherever.
And then and guess what? You're friends forever.
Yeah.
Like I got a chance at one of those range days to hang out with the Vortex Edge guys, which is like their training guys.
Oh yeah.
Brennan and Chris. And those two dudes are stellar dudes, are amazing shooters, and I've only met them twice, but I feel like I've known them my whole life already.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. It's just like, it's such a cultural thing, like, immediately, like, I'm just happy to be a part of it at this point, you know what I mean? Like, because, like, you get out of the Army, you go through a bit of an identity crisis. Like, legitimately, I was like, now what?
What do I do now?
Who do I hang out with? Where do I fit in? And then, luckily, I stumbled upon this right away, and I got very, very lucky and very cool, so.
Yeah, I mean, I say that all the time, that I'm super blessed to be a part of it, like, and be here and with you guys and sitting here. It's like, never 5 years ago, moving here, I never thought I'd be doing this. And it's like, it's been a fun ass ride. It's
Definitely.
So where are you at in the Army, dude?
I was just a National Guard out of upstate New York, so
right
spent a lot of time at Drum and hanging out.
Oh, my brother was a 10 Mountain Cat for like 3.5 years.
Yeah, you got your man card up there at Drum.
It got
it's
chilly.
cold.
Yeah.
Apparently they bring in the guys from Alaska to train there because it gets so cold.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
I know they hit, like, I mean, I didn't train with any of the 10th Mountain guys, but, like, outside, skiing as a civilian, you go to, like, the Adirondacks, and there's, like, 10th Mountain, stickers all over the ski lifts in the Adirondacks, because that's where they go to, like, do all the mountain stuff.
What's the name of the local town? It's called Watertown, I think. Yeah,
it's a shithole.
Yeah, it's so shithole. Dude, I was there
sorry if you live in Watertown.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. Yeah, I was there one time for, like, a 5-day thing when the Army was testing the new rifles, and man, we were just like, we went to the same place every night to eat because it was the only place that was worth a shit. But it was definitely an experience. So
ruined the local economy.
Dude, it was terrible. It was not a fun time. And I called my brother immediately after because I had never gone to visit him while he was up there because I had just joined as well. And I was like, bro, now I see why you got the hell out. Like you should have moved down to Savannah and been at 175. You never would have got out. But it's cool to see how, like, different cultures work at different bases and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it was good. Don't want to go back to Fort Drum anytime soon.
No.
So
do without that.
Yeah. I do miss the snow, though. Like, I'm born and raised in Buffalo, so I'm not.
Dude, I'm from Cleveland, and as much as I love Cleveland sports, I do not miss the snow.
Oh, I miss the snow.
I would never.
I'm not built for like 100 degrees for 100 days straight, and
I am.
Yeah, no.
I'm the opposite, dude.
I don't like cold.
Yeah, the closest I've ever been to death on multiple occasions while I was active duty was
in the cold.
Yeah. Like, that was it. It was like, dude, one time we did a winter rotation over to Afghanistan, and that was early days, so I spent a considerable amount of time out in the mountains doing that kind of crap. And we get back from that a couple months later. We used to work a lot with FBI and HRT guys. We're like, hey, we're doing a winter cycle thing in Colorado. Why don't you bring you and your team come with us? And he sent me a PowerPoint, like snowmobiles and stuff. And I was like, nope. He's like, seriously, you don't want to go do this with us? Nope. Don't care. I am not. You're going through the snow.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
Don't care. Yeah.
That's funny.
If I don't have to.
I just miss, like, the temperature change because it's been hot and then it gets not as hot. or like Buffalo or Cleveland, you have all like you have a distinct 4 seasons.
Yeah,
well,
Cleveland's bad in the winter because you get the lake right there. So lake effect snow is a whole different beast.
People that don't
you do know that.
Yeah, people that don't understand what lake effect snow is like
you
look it up.
An hour and a half south of Cleveland, you're not getting it. But the first 40 minutes outside of Cleveland, if an hour and a half gets 2 inches, you're getting about 2 feet.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works, and it's terrible. And I don't feel for anybody who lives there, so get out.
Yeah, in Savannah, we have summer, spring, and then like fall.
Light. Fall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fall light.
It does get cold in Savannah, but it's like
for like a day or two. Like you get those like dips, you know.
Yeah, it'll dip, but like we very rarely get like a hard freeze.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like it's probably pretty simple.
But like I mean, we've had the freeze a couple of years ago. Like houses here aren't built for that,
and neither is the state.
Yeah, exactly.
At
that's
all.
when we had that huge like power go out for 3 days.
We were out for like a week and a half.
Yeah. It's
I remember when that happened a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So on the same topic, I've continually failed for like 3 years now because we live in Savannah and I hate the cold, so I don't ever have an excuse to like go do shit like that. But you do find yourself occasionally like going to Alliance, Ohio to do a class or whatever, and it's the wintertime, and I'm like, dude, I need to up my snivel game because my snivel game is not very good right now. Like I don't have
left
12 layers of Arc'teryx shit, and every winter I'm like, dude, I need to up my snivel game. And then I just suck going through it. You know, so you go to a class and you're like, it sucks. I should buy some better stuff. I should have some better stuff. And then it's over with. And then the season changes and you're like, I'm good. I don't really need it. And that's like 3 years now running. I've multiple times been on ranges where I'm like, I should have way better inclement weather gear. But
dude,
I don't. Yeah.
I have a whole closet at my house just dedicated to jackets. Why do you have a whole closet of jackets? You live in Savannah. I'm like, yeah, but I'm from up north. There's 2 things you have up north. You always have jackets and you always have 4-wheel drive. So that's a go-to. So.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah.
Fact. Yeah, people don't like – I left so many – well, I mean, I have some cold weather stuff here, but like my skis, all that stuff is at my mom's house up back home.
That's right. It's for the birds.
Yeah, I don't need that here.
You take vacations up to go skiing or any of that crap?
No. Earlier this year we went to like Northern California and then drove into Oregon. So it was like in the 60s and 70s, and that was amazing because there was like 100 here. And we got to go chill in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, like sending them pictures and they're in like hoodies and stuff, and I'm like
hiking through the redwoods and stuff. Yeah, we can't get back off the plane, you know. We've been in the 60s, 70s for, you know, almost an entire week. And then we get off the plane, they open the door, and boom, like that. It hits you, and we're like, fuck.
Drink some water.
Yeah, it was just like that big wave of humidity and 100-degree heat just hit you. Like
the worst is when you're in the back of the plane or the middle of the plane, and you can just like feel the warm air waft onto the plane as you're like waiting to get off, and you're like, okay, here it comes. Like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, that's how it is in Savannah. Like, you get off the plane, but it goes right in the airport, and you come out the gates right after getting your bag, and you're like, the humidity hits you every time you get into Savannah because that's like this time of year right now in Savannah, it's the best way to describe it is like a wet wool blanket out of the microwave. And you're like, oh, man, I forgot about this, you know, but you get used to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm genetically coded weird because I love it. Like,
I don't mind. I don't mind the heat.
You know?
No.
I went to Ranger school in the winter, and I do not want to be cold. Never again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I complain about the heat, but I'd rather be hot than cold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's.
I agree.
You can always put on more clothes. I can't walk around the warehouse naked.
You can.
It would be frowned upon, or I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
You could do it once.
Why is Ian coming in on Sundays and working? Don't worry about it. Nobody come in.
No, this is incredible, man. You got a cool thing going on here. Your little room is great. I like all the artwork that people may or may not recognize. It's just awesome, dude.
Kind of try and set the mood.
Yeah, absolutely.
You nailed it.
No, this room's great.
What's going on back here? Oh, I guess this is for if we took the booze option.
Yeah.
This is nice, man. It's like a bottle opener and everything.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat little.
Those have some weight behind it.
Yeah,
too.
They're heavy too.
Yeah,
like you could like
beat somebody with
it. Yeah.
Ninja Star.
Yeah, exactly. Do some Ninja Star coasters.
Is there anything new gear wise coming out for Blue Force?
For SHOT Show 24, right? Yeah, we're in 23.
Yeah.
Yes, January.
SHOT Show 24.
Yeah, SHOT Show 24. Actually, we are doing. It's not gear related, but 24 is Blue Force Gear's 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So SHOT Show 24 for us, if you want to come by the booth, is going to be basically the 20 years of Blue Force Gear. It's like a little history thing, and all the stories behind our designs that we don't tell anybody are going to be there. Like,
Sick.
you know, it's like, how did this happen? You know, and almost everything we have in our inventory has a very clear, like, you know, this thing caused a problem or something like that, and they asked us for a solution, and we worked with that client and got a solution, and that's what it is or whatever. So I mean, not all the stories, but the ones that are tellable will be there. So I'm kind of excited about it, man. Our marketing team right now is kind of pushing on, like, you know, this 20-year anniversary thing that's going to be the booth, you know, like, how's that going to work and go, and they're scrambling right now. Like, our head of product design and our CEO are, like, literally digging through bins looking for the old, like, the first
padded
thing.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all that old stuff is coming out of the booth or coming out of the box, and they're going to kind of storyboard everything, and that's going to be cool.
It's like when Knights had the old ARs there last year.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yep, exactly.
Are you going this year?
Probably. You guys will probably see me out there.
Nice.
So
Yeah, you're like, I'm either going to get paid to go or I'm just going to go.
I'm going to take some PTO. I will be there, but
if I show up, I
might not be affiliated. I might be wearing one of those.
Listen, if you wear a BFG shirt, you can probably get
I get sneak in, like, wait, are you on the Manifest?
You see this?
We'll talk about it later.
You see this?
So yeah, that because of that though, we're not going to release anything like new gear wise or anything like that. We're not going to use SHOT for that purpose. Between now and then, like, yeah, we constantly have, you know, either we're updating an old piece of, or redesigning, updating an older model and just putting it out there, and we have some new products for Gov clients and I think probably 2 or 3 of them are going to go commercial.
Nice.
And now that we have a little bit more robust marketing team there at Blue Force Gear, then hopefully it'll get out there a little bit more substantially.
Christina just started with you guys, right?
She did.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And she brings a lot to the table, you know, because I was telling some of the other people here, it's like prior to her coming on board and some other people there that are on board, like, we didn't really have that capability, you know. Blue Force Gear, for better or for worse, like, typically hires guys like us that haven't been around the industry. Like, we don't, you know, and it's like, so much like the Ranger Regiment, like, we kind of have blinders on. It's like, I don't really know what everybody else does for this thing. So people like her immediately showed up and was like, let me explain to you kind of what you don't even understand. Like, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's been really neat to watch. So
cool.
Excited about developing that capability more in the future.
Hell yeah. Good stuff.
And you guys are on the same kind of thing, man. You got all this going and expanded your team to have this kind of stuff, and you're knocking it out of the park, man.
Yeah, we got the photo lab set up. We got this room set up.
Mm-hmm.
We have this guy set up, taking some good pictures, putting out podcasts.
Yeah, we just did a whole bunch of little I don't know what the term for it is, but the little video segments, content segments, you know, and that's I'm no Grantham, you know, by any stretch, but trying my best and doing those types of things, which is also really weird. That's why I'm glad Maz is here and a couple other guys on my team, where it's like, hey, I came on board, I started doing this kind of thing. I'm not good at it, but I just got to hook up and frickin' go. And but I want to see some more of our team kind of get involved with this stuff and not be afraid to stand in front of a camera and talk about, you know, either to people or about things, and have it kind of be like a good representation of what we're all about. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, from days of the pictures on the rock to now having a nice photo lab set up.
Mm-hmm. Went from iPhone cameras to actual guy that knows what he's doing.
Don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I knew exactly. I knew there's a lot. It's like, I don't know shit, but I can point a phone and take.
Yeah, there's a rock in front of the old warehouse that, like, a lot of the pictures used to be taken on. It was great background.
It was just like
you leaned your phone against a rock or something?
No, we would put the products on the rock.
Oh, on top of it. Okay, gotcha.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you should go out there and paint it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, we were the other day, I was like, oh, I miss the rock picture days.
Well,
Nice.
Where can folks find y'all on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, yeah, the error net, if you want to call it that. Me personally is on Instagram. I'm sizelove Chris, type 1 each. And by the way, don't like follow me or whatever, because I never post anything. It's boring as shit. Like, you're lucky if you see something out of me like once every 3 months on Instagram or whatever. But I'm also JTF_BFG, and that's kind of more of the shoot house stuff. So in Savannah, I have an indoor shoot house at UTM only, that I use to do a lot of support courses for clients. Obviously PD uses it a lot, lots of LE stuff, and that's really cool. So sometimes I'll put some stuff on the JTF page on what's going on in there. Hoping to have much more open enrollment stuff going on in there in 2024. And if anybody's watching this that heard me say that last year, more open enrollment stuff in 2023, I know, right? But getting everything to kind of come together to be able to do that has been more of a challenge than I would have imagined. But it's done now, and we're good to go. And then obviously Blue Force Gear is blueforcegear.com. Yeah. And then I think it is Blue Force Gear on Instagram.
Yeah, it's Blue Force Gear. You can just search us, and it's got our logo on it. But yeah, so
yep. Yeah,
and it's super simple.
That's it, man.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much for coming down, taking the time to record some stuff with us today, and sit down for a podcast and all that.
I mean, this has been a lot of fun.
Looking forward to tomorrow for Stoppage Junction. That's gonna be great. Like the last one you did was amazing, and we appreciate. I know everyone that took it had a really good time. And
good.
We really appreciate y'all doing that. It's
I love it, man. It's cool, and I'm glad I get to do it without like impeding on all the other great instructors that you have coming through here. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to like compete with them, even though all of us that are in that business don't really treat it like that. But I just like the fact that we like to get out and support you guys and other people like yourselves that are just doing fantastic work in the 2A community, the defense community, the LE community, all that stuff, man. So thank you very much for letting us come by.
Absolutely.
And do this. Today was a great day. Tomorrow's going to be even better, and thank you for everything, brother. We appreciate it.
For sure. Cool. Well, we appreciate y'all watching. If you could subscribe, share, all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad. We appreciate you watching, and I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Remember to call your grandmas, because they're not always going to be around.
Solid.
Boom.
Solid advice.
Okay. All right. I'm doing it right now.